I had never gone, and I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable going alone, and I had this anxiety about going to church for the first time. Like, the anxiety kind of came from the fact that I felt a little bit out of place, especially in a place where, you know, you go and like everybody knows each other, and I'm just sort of this outsider coming in, and I was relatively new to the faith. What's up, guys? My name's Andy. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm just making these videos talking about gospel-related things and just documenting my journey to getting closer to Christ. So welcome. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my story of how I got over my anxiety to go to church for the first time. It all started with a coworker of mine. Actually, he was talking about going to church, and I told him that, you know, going to church was really not possible for me because I was working nights, and I was also working like into Sunday morning. Like I would work Saturday night into Sunday morning. So I told him, like, it's just gonna be really hard, man, you know. And so he told me that maybe, he's like, well, maybe you could look for a church that has service on the evenings. You know, maybe there's like a church service that starts at like 5 p.m. on a different day or on Sunday or something. And I told him that I consider it, you know, I look into it. But honestly, man, like when I was working nights, I just never really felt comfortable. I honestly just didn't feel comfortable going alone. This is basically when I was very new into the faith and very much learning things. Yeah, he encouraged me to go to church, but I just didn't really want to. I found it to be a lot more of a mental thing than it was. I had never gone, and I was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable going alone, and I had this anxiety about going to church for the first time. Like, the anxiety kind of came from the fact that I felt a little bit out of place, especially in a place where, you know, you go and like everybody knows each other, and I'm just sort of this outsider coming in, and I was relatively new to the faith. I get this impression where people who had been going to church had been going for like a really long time, so they either grew up in it or something. Their family had been in the faith, and here I was, you know, just coming in. Like I just brand new to it, basically. Kind of like high school vibes, where I kind of felt out of place. In high school, it was just kind of hard to find your clique kind of thing. But the reason I bring up high school is because those same types of feelings were emerging again when I was thinking about going to church, actually, yeah. So I just had these feelings of like, not only was it an anxiety about going to a new place, it was just all the new people, but there was also this other feeling that I was experiencing, which I wasn't really ready for too, is not being qualified to go to church. I don't know. I had this feeling that I needed to have like read the Bible a lot more. Like it was some requirement that I had to have read a certain amount of the Bible to go to church. I actually like felt that. I actually really thought this. I really felt like it's like, oh, I don't know if someone were to like question me or like some kind of like quiz, like they're gonna quiz me on the spot or something. I don't know, man. It was just all in my head. Honestly, I had just kind of fabricated these kinds of things in my head, and it honestly just prevented me from going for quite a long time. And I just felt kind of nervous about going. My coworker kept, every now and again, you know, he'll ask, hey, so what about church? What about church? And so it came to a point where my coworker kept asking, kept nagging me about church. So one time he actually insisted that he choose a church and that we both go to it. He said, okay, let's go together. And the thing about this guy is like, he chose a church that was relatively close to me, but he chose one that was actually like quite far away for him. And it was like an hour drive for my coworker. He told me, hey, make sure you dress up, make sure you kind of look a certain way, make sure you look presentable. I'm like, okay, yeah, I got it. And so we both go to this church kind of near where I live, and It was like 20 minutes away from me, but it was like an hour away for him. And so I remember, being in the parking lot, all kind of like nervous and and so I'm going into this building, and it was funny because I'll never forget this too. Elders came up to me, and the thing is, you guys, like this church was like, it's all like Ukrainian church, right? So this guy comes up to me, and I'm like the only brown guy there, right? I look out of place, and so he comes up to me, he's like, hey, you lost? Or like, hey, you in the right building? Hey, you good? He's like, hey, you good? I'm like, no, like I'm actually, this is actually where I'm supposed to be, and I'm just meeting a friend of mine here. And he's like, oh, okay, yeah, welcome. He honestly was very welcoming, but it was it was just kind of funny at first. I don't know. Anyways, I eventually found my coworker at the church, and he brought his wife, and she's a super sweet woman. It's just nice to see like family and other people that are very close to your coworkers. You get to see another kind of side of them, which is kind of nice. Yeah, we just did some singing, and we just listened to the sermon. And afterwards, he asked me, oh, like, what'd you think? And I said, and I liked it. I genuinely did. It wasn't anything crazy. And I remember I told him, I remember telling him these things, and it was kind of like out of relief. I was thinking to myself, like, oh, well, like, this is all you have to do? I was like, oh, all you have to do is just show up, that's it? And he kind of laughed, and he's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. I had this preconceived, notion in my head that, I don't know, it would be more involved, like, I don't know, there's some quiz or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. I was just making it up in my head. And, once you go through it, then it helped wash away all the anxieties that I had about going to church, and, that you're not getting quiz on the Bible or whatever right then and there. There's no test, there's no pop quiz or whatever. That was the first time that I went to church, but actually I want to talk about another time. Fast forward sometime later, where another coworker of mine, he wanted to take me to his church because they were doing some kind of big service, and he was asking about the church that I was going to, and again, I hadn't really spotted one out for myself yet. He actually helped me find the current church that I go to now. It was just me and him in his car, and he looked up the website of the church that I go to now, and he's like, yeah, man, this one looks good. I hope you go consistently. We kept talking, and I brought up the fact that I was anxious. Like I felt like an anxiety about going. These first two times of going to the church, I was with my two coworkers, right? Two different coworkers, but I was with somebody, and so I still knew at some point that if I wanted to go to the church near where I live, that I have to go by myself. It was just me and him in the car. He asked me, hey, well, do you believe in the Gospels? And I said, I definitely do. And so he asked me again, like, hey, can I pray for you? And I said, sure, man, like, let's do it. Held hands, and he prayed for me, and he prayed that my anxiety to be washed away. Like he prayed to God, and it was a prayer for me to not feel as anxious, and to have courage, to bring me courage, and to wash away my anxiety about going to church. And it honestly made a world of difference. And so ever since that, I mustered up the courage to go to my local church, and I've been going there ever since. Everyone's super friendly. I've been making an effort to just stay connected and to just be involved in some of the groups and stuff like that, and some of the other programs that they have. And this is the current church that I go to now. And I've been going now for maybe it's probably been at least 3 months, something like that, 3 months. Yeah, nothing crazy, but that's honestly just how it started. And great group of people. That's my story. Yeah, at first I was very anxious, the courage to really go by myself. But I think after my coworkers helped me out, and just my coworkers helped me overcome my anxiety about going. And now I go without even thinking about it. And I think I've missed a couple Sundays here and there, but the thing is, for the most part, I'm going every Sunday, and I love it. And I'm really happy to go and meet all those people. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole video. I just want to talk about my first times going to church. because I had a lot of anxiety about going, especially going alone. If you guys enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment or something. That would really help me. Put a video up on the screen, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.